Hello and welcome. Chef Pennington here. Today I'm going to show you how to make some simple but very delicious beef jerky. We're going to cover how to cut the meat, what to pay attention to. Right here, let's start. The grains of the meat are very important. You can see that they're running from top to bottom, the length of the meat. So right there, you can see where the lines are. You want to make a perpendicular cut to that. So what cut of meat are we using today? Today we're using a top round, which is part of the back portion of the cow, even considered part of the leg, the upper leg. It can be very tender when it's cooked well. Right there, I'm looking at each piece. How many pieces am I trying to get out of this one piece of meat? So I'm visualizing before I start. Very important. Now you want to cut it roughly a 1/4 inch, somewhere in there. If you get too thick, it's going to change your drying time. So you're going to, you can go up to 5, 6, 7 hours, depending on how thick you like it. I go for around 1/4 of an inch, somewhere in there, maybe a little thicker. When I'm cutting the knife, I'm angling it back, almost like a triangle shape, you might say, so that there's a thicker portion of the piece of beef jerky. And you could use other cuts of meat besides just beef. You could use turkey and things like that. There's a lot of interesting stuff. So you can see we've got nice cuts here, and we've cut against the grain, which is going to guarantee that this is going to be tender. Now, let's create a marinade. You could just use salt and pepper or just salt and call it a day, but we're going to do something kind of fun. We're using ginger and sriracha, really awesome, very healthy ingredients, particularly the ginger. It's superfood. So you want to use a microplane so you can break it down and let all the juices come out. Use your favorite soy sauce. I think Kikkoman works very nice for the flavor profile of beef jerky. I think a lot of people are familiar with that brand at this point. So we've got our soy sauce, we've got our fresh ginger. You can use as much or as little ginger as you want. That's the fun thing about this recipe. It's an approximation. We're using some minced garlic there. And sriracha, you could use your favorite hot sauce in the place of it. I just really love sriracha. I fell in love with it over the last year once I had it on plain pizza by my brother-in-law. I was like, that is so good. Reinforcing the ginger flavor, using a little bit of ground here. Brown sugar. I think that's a pretty important ingredient for a classic flavor of beef jerky. Now, you can marinate this overnight. You can go for 4 hours. I'm good for about as long as it takes me to set up the dehydrator. I don't like a super long marinade because I want the beef flavor to still be there, and these are strong marinade flavors. So it really doesn't take a long time. You might experiment with what you like. If you want to do the longer, that's fine. But for me, under 15 minutes, I'm good. It's going to have all the flavor. I don't think there's a lot of value. Now, if you do marinate longer, what I've noticed, though, is the sugar part of it does come through more. So if you like a sweeter beef jerky, you might go 2 or 3 or 4 hours. So here's our machine. They're sold usually in multi-layers. We're not going to use every single layer. We're going to put a protective layer on the bottom. This is going to make for easier cleanup. And they have these nice little silamats, I guess, that are going to help clean up. That's a big part. Like, this could be a messy thing to clean up, and it's actually not that hard to clean up at all. So spread them out. You don't want them exactly on top of each other because this is going to circulate air. So that's important. I like adding the black pepper. It looks nice when it's done. Plus, it creates a little extra texture on the outside of our beef jerky. So good old pepper is a very classic. So we're going to do 2 layers here. You can fill the whole thing up. It's going to totally go. I like adding 1 extra layer here. So this is not going to have beef jerky on it. That's just going to give it more room for the air to circulate. Now let's look at the temperatures. A classic is 160. Some people like to mess around and go a little higher, a little lower. I think there's a reason 160 is on this dehydrator. It's the perfect temperature, and it truly is the perfect temperature. And there's some other cool stuff you can do. You can do herbs and create fruits, and it's pretty cool what a dehydrator can do. Today's beef jerky day. So let's take a look what happened here. I went for 4 hours. 4 hours is kind of my number because I don't make my pieces too large, and it is absolutely dehydrated. We're going to take a look at here how we did. But that just looks like beef jerky. It's very satisfying making beef jerky at home because you've probably noticed how expensive it is in the store. This piece of meat I bought was $5. So I got beef jerky for at least a week here, and I spent $5 plus a little bit of seasoning. So I hope y'all give us a try and totally enjoy. Come let us know how it turned out for you, or if you've got a recipe idea, and y'all have the best. Take care.